I know.
They started by one view of the flag. Yeah, we used it over here. It's gonna be here. They got it over there. Oh. Hey, Dustin, put a flag on your back. It's fine. Well, thank you. What? A flag, give a flag on your back for John. I can see it. Oh, that's. Yeah.
Never have enough flags.
Line it up real good.
It's 7 o'clock. It's time to start our September 5th, 2023 council meeting. Janine, please call the roll.
Mr. Barker.
Here.
Ms. Klein. Present. Mr. Shu.
Present.
Mr. Hauser.
Here.
Mr. Labutus.
Here.
Mr. Lang.
Present.
Mr. Marmy.
Present.
Mr. Daly.
Here.
Mr. Rath.
Here.
Mr. Ryan.
Here.
We're all here tonight. Will you please stand for the invocation by Mr. Howell?
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you so much for blessing us and living in this great country that we live in. And so I want to thank you for blessing us also in the city that we live in. We pray that you would just watch over our meeting here tonight. And as we go out of this meeting, representing the residents and citizens of Newark, I pray that you would just bless our efforts. So thank you also for all of our first responders. I pray that you would watch over them in the great effort that they do to protect and serve us. Amen.
Amen. May you stay for the pledge. Mr. Garrett Babcock, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which stands one nation under indivisible with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda is caucus. It's time for council to discuss anything on the agenda. Do we have anything tonight? All right, next is minutes of August 21st, 23 meeting. Motion by Labuda, second by Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Appointments, there are none at this meeting. Reports of standing committees, finance, service personnel without objection will be received and filed. Reports from city officials. Brandon Fox, the water administration, water bills linked to county total amount $6,684.71 without objection. That will be received and filed. Tonight we have two proclamations by the mayor. The first one will be the Licking County River Roundup Day is on September 9th. And then the next one will be Mayor Hall with the Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, September 2023.
There, and I'm gonna just flip this.
Okay.
You want me up front, please? Bernadette Porter, I understand your little angel is Emily. Do you want to say a couple words about Emily? I'll get all choked up.
Yeah, Emily was diagnosed at the age of 8 years old with ovarian cancer. She battled several different times and passed away at 21. So she, over 2 years in November, she passed away. But
Thank
she
you
battled
for sharing that. I'd like to go ahead and introduce proclamation then. Whereas Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is an annual campaign to raise awareness about childhood cancer and to express support for children and adolescents with cancer, the survivors, and their families. Childhood cancer affects thousands of young Americans each year and is the leading cause of disease-related death for children. This year, more than 10,000 of our nation's youth will be diagnosed with this life-threatening disease. Approximately 40,000 children are on an active treatment at any time, and 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have chronic health conditions as a result of their treatment. Childhood cancer is devastating, and families face an enormous burden. Researchers and healthcare professionals work diligently, dedicating their expertise to treat and cure children with cancer. hundreds of nonprofit organizations at the local and national level are helping children with cancer and their families cope through educational, emotional, and financial support. Now therefore, I, Jeff Hall, Mayor of the great city of Newark, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Newark, Ohio. And I strongly urge all citizens to get involved in the fight to end childhood. Thank you for coming tonight. Lindsay Brighton. On our way. Thank you again, Veronica. The River Roundup, which you're wearing a good display board, is right around the corner. You want to say a couple words?
Yeah, the River Roundup is this Saturday, September 9th. The deadline to register is already closed, but we can still get you in. If you decide Saturday morning you want to go help clean the river up, you can come to one of our 6 locations in Newark. I'll be at the Everett Park location. We have another location at South Fork at Ohio Street, and then 2 down at Riverview Preserve, at Rosary Park, and also at the Grove by the River. So we invite everyone to come help clean the trash out of the river and help keep our waterways clean.
And it is going on throughout the whole county too, by the way, if you've got friends or relatives or anyone else. This is something that started in Newark and through stormwater management, we work real hard and it's kind of spread like wildfire in the river.
That's great.
Let me go ahead and share a proclamation. Whereas with great pride that on Saturday, September 9th, 2023, we celebrate the 29th annual Licking County River Roundup, where citizens come together to participate in a hands-on cleanup of our Licking County waterways. Over the years, this extremely effective roundup has gained great momentum. Last year, volunteers and local leaders pulled nearly 185 tires and 2,500 pounds of scrap metal out of our county waterways and surrounding riverbanks. In collaboration with the Licking County River Roundup event, the city of Newark encourages everyone in the community, from families and organizations to public officials and senior citizens, to work together to keep our waterways clean and preserve our natural resources. Now, therefore, I, Jeff Hall, Mayor of the great city of Newark, hereby proclaim Saturday, September 9th, 2023 as Licking County River Roundup Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Next on the agenda is communications. Auditor of State of Ohio, Keith Faber, City of Newark, Licking County, single audit January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. Next up is the Ohio Division of Liquor Control transfer from Quick and Cold 21 LLC to Quick and Cold Express LLC, 998 North 21st Street, Newark, Ohio 43055. And next is Chance Pasnick, Superintendent of Parks and Recs, Cemetery Department, echoes of the past, September 15th, 6 to 7:30, Cedar Hill Cemetery, $5 per person, of $15 for the car. Next on the agenda, we have a public hearing. 23-17. Janine, will you please read the public hearing?
Ordinance number 23-17 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Barker, Mr. Shute, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, Mr. Marmy, and Mr. Neely. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 235 East Main Street, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-205-116.00.000 and parcel tax ID number 054-204-636.00.000 from that of single family residence RH High Density District to MB Medium Intensity Business District, zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio.
Okay, you've heard the reading of the public hearing 23-17. Is anybody here to speak for or against? Anybody here to speak for or against 23-17? Janine, please read it again.
Ordinance number 23-17 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Barker, Mr. Shute, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, Mr. Marmy, and Mr. Neely. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 235 East Main Street, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio, parcel tax ID number 054-205-116.00.000 and parcel tax ID number 054-204-636.00.000 from that of single family residence RH High Density District to MB Medium Intensity Business District, zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio.
The Planning Commission has asked that We passed this, so we have a motion. Mr. Rath,
Make a motion to adopt 23-17.
Second.
got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Mr. Barker. Do we have any discussion? Jenny, please call the roll.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Ms. Blind,
Yes.
Mr. Shu,
Yes.
Mr. Hauser,
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
23-17 passes 10-0. Next up is another public hearing, 23-18.
Ordinance number 23-18 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Neely, Mr. Shute, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, and Mr. Marmy. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 1975 Cherry Valley Road, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio, parcel tax ID number 054-216-642.00.000 from that of single-family residence RH High Density District to MFH Multifamily High Rise District, zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio.
You've heard the reading of 23-18. Is anybody here to speak for or against? Okay, this one too, the planning commission has asked to pass, so. Do we have a motion? Mr. Rath,
Make a motion to adopt 23-18.
Second.
motion by Mr. Rath, second by Ms. Blind. Do we have any discussion? Can you please call the roll?
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Ms. Blind,
Yes.
Mr. Shute,
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
That passes 10-0. Next up is another public hearing, 23-19.
Ordinance number 23-19 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Neely, Mr. Shute, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, and Mr. Marmy. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as West Main Street, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-216-636.00.000 from that of GC General Commercial District to MFH Multifamily High Rise District, zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio.
You've heard the reading of 23-19. Is anybody here to speak for or against? Anybody? Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rath, second by Mr. Hauser. Do we have any discussion? Can you please call the roll?
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Shute.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
23-19 passes 10-0. Next up is another public hearing, 23-20.
Ordinance number 23-20 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Neely, Mr. Shute, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, and Mr. Marmy. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as Thornwood Drive, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-216-654.00.000 from that of GC General Commercial District to MFH Multifamily High Rise District, zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio.
Okay, you've heard the reading of 23-20. Is anybody here to speak for or against 23-20? Anybody? Okay, do we have a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath,
make a motion to adopt 23-20.
Second.
got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Ms. Blind. Do we have any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath,
in these last three ordinances, 23-18, 23-19, and 23-20, all three are part of one particular project around West Main Norwood intersection. Welcome to new housing coming into the third ward. And it's gonna be a good project, so I encourage everybody to support this.
anybody else? Can you please call the roll?
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Shute.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
That passes 10-0. Next up is our last public hearing, 23-22.
Ordinance number 23-22 by Mr. Barker, Mr. Shute, Mr. Labutus, Mr. Rath, Mr. Marmy, and Ms. Blind. An ordinance amending portions of the current articles of the zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio, adopted May 5th, 2009, by ordinance number 08-33A, and implementing additional articles of the zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio.
You've heard the reading of 23-22. Is anybody here to speak for or against? Anybody? Okay, do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Barker,
yes, I make a motion to adopt 23-22.
Second.
got a motion by Mr. Barker, second by Ms. Blind. Do you have any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Barker,
thank you, Mr. President. I need to make an amendment to make this 23-22A. What this amendment is doing is striking items 150.2 and 150.2.1 from this legislation. These are items that actually need to be handled by a charter review commission of the city. The law director made me aware of this earlier. So I would ask that we amend this piece of legislation.
So I have a motion to amend by Mr.
Second.
Barker. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Hauser. Janine, please call the roll.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind. Yes. Mr. Shute.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
So the amendment has passed 10-0.
Mr. President,
Mr. Barker.
I make a motion to adopt 23-22A.
Second.
So got a motion by Mr. Barker to adopt.
It's already on the table.
That's what I thought, yeah. So we had a motion by Mr. Barker and a second by Ms. Blind to adopt 23-A. Janine, please call the roll.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind. Yes. Mr. Shute.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
23-22A has passed 10-0. Next on the agenda is time for citizen comments. This is your opportunity to talk before city council. I ask you to comments around 3 minutes. Do we have anybody tonight? Come on up, sir. Need your name and address for the record.
Dwayne Anderson, 914B Empire Drive, Newark, Ohio. I haven't been to council meetings for probably 4 or 5 years, so 3 times 5 is 15. First is a challenge to all the council members. I read where the mayor wanted a $40,000 pay increase. I challenge each council member to go out and talk to their constituents whenever something this idiotic comes up for a vote and get the opinion of the people that elected you here. Secondly, I walked around the square today for the first time. I'm diabetic, so I need water. There's no water on the square. Neither water fountain is functionable. Third, I read where our law director wanted to enforce or try to enforce the noise ordinance, which back when Doug Sasson was the law director, he said that was impossible because the equipment had to be calibrated right before use and right after use. So, gentlemen, go out and see what your people that elected you want you to do.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak at this time? Okay, next up is ordinance on the second reading, 23-42A.
Ordinance number 23-42A by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Shute, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, Mr. Rath, and Mr. Labutus. An ordinance authorizing the compensation of 3 civil service commissioners and secretary of the Civil Service Commission of the city of Newark, Ohio.
You've heard the reading. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt ordinance 23-42.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy,
Second.
second by Mr. Lang. Do you have any discussion? Janine, please call the roll.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Blind? Yes. Mr. Shute?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
23-42A passed 10-0. Next up, it's ordinance on the first reading, 23-40B.
Ordinance number 23-40B by Mr. Lang, Mr. Parker, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, and Mr. Rath. An ordinance setting compensation and stating policy with respect to certain appointed positions of the city of Newark, Ohio, repealing all ordinances and resolutions in conflict herewith.
Heard the reading of 23-40B. What is your wish? This will be held until September 18th, sorry, yep. Next up is resolutions on the second reading. 23-71.
Resolution number 23-71 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, Mr. Rath, and Mr. Labutus. A resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
You've heard the reading of 23-71. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 23-71. Second.
Motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Janine, please call the roll.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Ms. Blind,
Yes.
Mr. Shute,
Yes.
Mr. Hauser,
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath,
yes,
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
23-71 passes 10-0. Next up is resolutions on the first reading, 23-74.
Resolution number 23-74 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Labutus. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service to accept bids and sell certain surplus personal property now owned by the city of Newark, Ohio, and declaring that such property is no longer needed for any municipal purpose and declaring an emergency.
You've heard the reading of 23-74. What is your wish?
oh, Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
I can make a motion to adopt 23-74.
Motion by Mr. Rath, second by Ms. Blind. Do we have any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
the reason for the emergency clause on this is to make advertising deadlines.
Any other discussion? Janine, please call the roll.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Shute.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath,
Yes,
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
23-74 passes 10-0. Next up is resolution 23-75.
Resolution number 23-75 by Mr. Martin, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, and Mr. Rath. The resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
23-75 will be held until our next meeting, September 18th. Next up is resolution 23-76.
Resolution number 23-76 by Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Labutus. A resolution authorizing the conveyance of certain real property now owned by the city of Newark, Ohio to Newark Development Partners as its agent for industrial, commercial, distribution, and research.
This 23-76 will be held till September 18th. And then our last one tonight is resolution 23-77.
Resolution number 23-77 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Barker, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Labutus. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service of the city of Newark, Ohio to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the off-site disposal and beneficial reuse of lime sludge from Newark's water treatment plant.
23-77 will be held until September 18th. So that completes our ordinance and resolutions tonight. Next up is comments from citizens. Ask you to try to keep your comments around 3 minutes, the name and address.
Linda Mossholder, 324 Green Meadow Drive, New York. I didn't plan on coming to council tonight. However, I felt the need to show support for the children of my church. A couple of weeks ago, a whole bunch of kids and their parents came to homeless outreach to help feed the people. Their parents saw this as an opportunity for the children to learn compassion. They taught their children, as Christians, we are to feed the poor and the needy. I will admit, the kids wore me out. We have quite a few dogs, as I've mentioned before, that come to the outreach. All the kids wanted to feed the dog biscuits. You can't have 5 kids running at the dogs at the same time. One little girl wanted to trade in a dog collar because there was a girl dog out there and it didn't have a pink collar. I did convince her that the dog didn't need another collar, but was able to give her a pink leash. We pass out freezer pops when it's really warm. And the children know to offer people a choice of what flavor they want, rather than just hand somebody a pop and say, here. One of the guests and our children all wore their first name on name badges. When she gave him a choice of what freezer pops he wanted, he said, "Thank you, Charlotte. This is very nice of you. I am very grateful." I realize that feeding people can result in creating trash in different areas. Many of the people who get their food at the outreach do eat their food on the premises. There is no trash in our property. We pass out trash bags for people who want them, but where are you going to take your trash bag after you fill it with something? So I know this does create a problem. I'm proud of my church. I actually wore a church t-shirt tonight instead of my outreach t-shirt. And it's United Church of Granville, because we're showing such compassion. Several other churches also bring their youth to the outreach. And I see this as love in action. I want to give you just a really brief update on the woman I told you about at the last council meeting. After 12 hours, not all in the same day, of taking this person from one place to the next, we are making some progress in getting her the ID she needs. Just an example, one day we went from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, from there to the Social Security office, which once again, if you don't have a picture ID, you can get nowhere. They told us to go to the hospital to get a copy of her medical record and bring it back. The hospital was very cooperative, however, their notary wasn't there, so we couldn't finish that. We did finish that today. It's really interesting spending that many hours in the car with somebody who has been living on the streets. I am not going to use her name. Some of you have probably seen her on a bench downtown before she was put in the motel. But one of the things that she told me was, I learned to starve myself so I could make the food I have last. That stuck with me. So she would limit the amount of food she ate because she wanted to make what little food she had last. I make sure she has food in her refrigerator at the motel in Heath. We're still making progress, but just before I came today, I got a message from one of the places that's helping, that one of the agencies who said they were willing to help find her housing doesn't think she qualifies. So again, I can start all over again probably tomorrow. Fortunately, she is staying at a motel in Heath, and that's being paid for by the Coalition for Care. I am thankful that the director did not take the recommendation not to serve the homeless. This woman is 76 years old. She would not survive living on the streets now. It's going to take some more time to get all her documents together. I was able to at least get an application of her Social Security replacement card done today. Get her Social Security, which I never knew comes on a little green like MasterCard that you use. We were able to get that changed to the correct address. What else did we do today? I can't remember all the places we went today. So again, it is not easy if you are a homeless individual, especially without a ID, to get services. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Just an FYI, I've got Doug Smith.
Name your name, sir.
Ralph friends.
Thank you.
Doug Smith from the Christian Life Center out on Linville Pike. Got a hold of Greg and I. And their church group wanted to pick up trash in different areas of the roadway. We have a adopted roadway program. And on August 28th, they did between 21st and Country Club, east and westbound. And he notified us Monday morning where the trash bags was. We sent guys out to pick them up. Their next setup is September 28th. So you'll see them around the city. We supply them vests and trash bags, just, for the roadways. And they'll contact us and just let you know if you see them. That's what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you. Any city officials? Oh, go ahead.
Gary Babcock, 67 Belmont. Just to add on to what he just said, the reason Christian Life Center was out there is because I copied off the city minutes where this nice council person here said the people that make the mess ought to clean up the mess. Christian Life Center, I've been going there for a lot of years. So anyhow, I presented that, like I said, last meeting to our pastor, and of course he gave it to his wife, said, get this done. And she did. And Ms. Blind, she showed up and had one of the church shirts on, I guess, and it worked out really well. So I guess my suggestion, if I may, is there's other organizations handing stuff out in these cartons that, you know, get thrown along the bike path and areas. So when they have these meetings, I'd like someone from council to approach those people and say, this is a great thing, it really is. But how about a cleanup? And this nice lady there said her church cleaned up, and that's the way it ought to be. Thank you.
City official.
Gentleman that talked about the meters, if you'd like to stay after, I can just run out and resolve that. And with that, I'll pass. Thank you.
Brandon Fox, Water Administrator, to address your question, I've heard a couple of comments the last couple of months on the drinking fountains downtown. We're aware of it, we're in the process of ordering parts to get those repaired, so hopefully that will be soon.
Thank you.
Anybody else, city officials?
I jumped in.
You jumped in there.
Did I jump in?
You're ready to go, aren't you?
Yes.
Mayor?
Friday, I was fortunate enough to attend an event at CTEC, high school career signing day, and you know, a lot of the signing days are kind of based around sports. This is based around jobs and your future. So last year there were 37 seniors that signed up. Just a reminder, one CTEC is your junior and senior year of the trades, which is desperately needed across everywhere, including the county. And it attaches to all, you still attach to all your high schools across the county. Last year, 37 of them signed up on the first day and ended up 99 participated by year end. We had 46, I think, on this Saturday. So what they basically do is employers take them on for an internship for the entire senior year. And so if they get up on stage and sign that agreement with the employer shake their hands, and then give them a little swag, like a little cap or something. I will say I sat next to a mother last year where the son was going to do 40 hours at an electrical trade in Gahanna 1 week, and then come back the next week and do 2 weeks of CTEC work in 1 week. Then 40 hours in Gahanna and 2 weeks. That's how their entire 9 months go. And I will tell you, I give a lot of kudos to those young men and women. They were lined up. They took every single electrical trade graduate or senior from CTEC. They're in such a demand. So kudos to all of them for them stepping up and the hard work. Some of them started in the summer already, but it's surely they're going to have steps ahead for their future in a lot of ways, and understand it's a tough life out there for a lot of people, and it will be, but there'll be steps ahead of that. And certainly the employers are extremely happy. So LMH had some people, Robertson Construction, kind of goes on with that list, but I'd give kudos to all those students and for stepping up, taking that responsible commitment, and of course the parents that are supporting them and their families. So that'll pass.
Thank you, Mayor. And Mr. Barker?
Thank you, Mr. President. This Saturday is the Light the Night Cruise in downtown Newark, starting at 9 a.m. until 3. That's the one of the drivers of the Christmas courthouse lighting, but it's always a great time in downtown. It'll be full, I'm sure, with different classic cars. This is the event that Jim Matheny used to run and now his family runs for the committee. So want to make sure everybody's aware of that. Want to thank Director Rhodes and Joe Paul regarding a couple different issues in the East End that they were able to help residents with, as well as one on Church Street where a crosswalk is not lighting up. And if anyone knows this, that crosswalk before it had lit up, somebody many years ago was hit and killed there. So we want to make sure that is back operating. And I know they're working on getting parts to get that done this week. And just, you know, one thing, I know the law director touched on the noise ordinance. There is a new noise ordinance, one that is, in my opinion, it is enforceable. And so I know she's going to talk about that. I'd be happy to meet with you as well, Mr. Anderson, to talk about it. I've worked on that quite a long time with my other fellow members and law director to get to what is an enforceable ordinance. And with that, I will pass.
Thank you, Ms. Blind.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Babcock.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was great. And I offered CLC, Christian Life Center, a list of opportunities. So there's quite a few. As far as trash, as you know, we have volunteers out every weekend, fairly consistently there. And I was told by some that it's the city's job to clean up after them. And I do not agree with that. So when I get that attitude, I offer them another opportunity. Dumpsters are throughout the city in South and East End, provided by businesses. They don't care what goes in those dumpsters. They want people to put the trash in the dumpsters because trash laying around affects their property and their business. So it means a great deal for people to pick up after themselves. I like to thank Tectum for laying a patch of asphalt, part of the deal. They did their portion, and so I have something that I need to do as well to help improve their property. And I'd like to thank everyone who helped for the picnic in the park, the Licking County Barbershop Quartet. They were fantastic. There were other groups that came. And you know, it was great just to hear people singing along. The time where it's kind of stressful, just to hear people sing, it was great. And the street department and the parks for picking up and putting up signs. Appreciate property maintenance as well.
Thank you, Mr. Shute. Okay. Mr. Hauser.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to thank Brandon Box. We had a couple of residents reach out to me with a non-urgent complaint issue, and I sent an email to Brandon expecting it to be addressed later on. And he emailed me back on Saturday, so I appreciate that and attention to the details. So I appreciate that. Also want to thank Lindsay Brighton for coming out. My wife and I always like to participate in the roundup, but encourage anybody that can to get out from that. It's a great event. Also like to call a street committee meeting for September 18th, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser. Mr. Levitt.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will pass my statements.
Mr. Lang.
That's as well.
Mr. Marmy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Need to call a finance committee meeting for the 18th. I want to really thank Veronica for coming in this evening. I know that must have been difficult. It definitely generated some emotions within me. And it was just, I was just happy that she could be here, and I appreciate the mayor's proclamation. It is something that is, it's a horrible disease, and when it hits children, it's even worse. So I'm in agreement with everything that's going on as far as childhood cancer awareness. The last thing, I think everybody kind of commented on a lot of the different things. But no matter what, and Ms. Blind, when folks say that about it's the city's responsibility for picking up trash, no, it's the law not to litter. So, and with that, I will pass.
Thank you, Mr. Marmy. Mr. Neely.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will pass.
Mr. Rath.
Thank you, Mr. President. A service committee meeting for Monday the 18th. And with that, I'll pass.
Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will pass this evening as well.
Okay. I have a couple of things. In the last meeting, I forgot to welcome Mr. Neely, everything that was going on. So welcome to council. Hope you do a lot better job than the guy you replaced. So I wish you well, and I'm sure you'll do well. I read it earlier in the communication, but on September 15th is the echoes of the past. On this year, they're going to be honoring our African-American heritage, and it's a Cedar Hill Cemetery. And if you've never been to one of those, you really need to go. It's a really neat thing to go to. I was supposed to play Orrin Henry, but I'm going to be out of state that week, so I will not be able to participate in it. But it starts at 6 to 7:30. The historical society, that's on 12 and under, children 12 and under are free to have lemonade and popcorn free of charge. So it's a really cool thing, and I think the mayor can back me up on that. So also, school has started back up. And I always reach out to different schools in Newark for students to come and do the pledge. So if you guys have anybody you'd like to know, I think Brad's kids are gonna do it next meeting. So if you guys know of any students who'd like to come do the pledge, let me know. And then on Sunday, it's the Browns and I will be in Cleveland rooting on the Browns. Sorry about that there, HR director. So our next meeting is September 18th. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Barker, second by Mr. Hauser. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.